Secondly, it could be anger. Yes, because of you, I'm in trouble. We are angry with somebody else. This is exactly what's happening to many of us as Christians. We are angry with the politician. We are angry with the government. Out of anger, what do? We make use of the internet, spreading all sorts of rumors. Recently, I scolded some pastors. I scolded them. I say, are you advocating like what Paul said, what is good, what is commendable? Or are you advocating all sorts of anger and hate culture? I told the Christian leaders and pastors in particular, I say, don't sow hatred, don't sow anger, don't instigate people more. We should be peacemakers. I say, where are we called to do? Are we called to be a peacemaker or called to be a troublemaker? You ask yourself this question. When you send out all this kind of email, what is it for? It's to make her get angry. It's to make him get angry. Correct or not? We are not finding a concrete solution. That's why I've been telling Christians, we need to be constructive in dealing with the national problem. I say it because I do it. Today you read the Star, you will see my comment in the article called The Minority That Has an Influence, written by Jocelyn Tan. You see, even though I commended the issues and problems, but we seek to do something positive like Nehemiah. Or the third response could be we go into a depression in the sense that we cannot cope. We don't know what to do. We kept everything inside our heart, not willing to share it out. Therefore, at the point that you cannot cope with that pressure, you may go into depression. That's the reason why schizophrenia, depression become very common today. We cannot cope with the problem. Fourthly, we could be bargaining, trying to find a solution. Finally, acceptance and act on it. Nehemiah adopted the fifth response. That is, to accept the fact that we have problems. And he acted on it. So this morning, I want to convey to you 5 points in dealing with problems. Either personal problem, community problem, family problem, or national problem. There are 5 things that we can learn from the book of Nehemiah, how he dealt with the national issue. So these 5 points are very simple. I'm sure after this, you will remember. Besides my joke, you will remember these 5 points. Usually, you remember the joke, you don't remember the points. But this time, I make sure that you remember the point. The first point is admission. The second point is confession. The third point is decision. The fourth point is petition. And finally, the last point is action. Can you remember already? Okay, first, good. Second point, good. Third point, very good. Fourth point, very good. Final point, action. You already got the 5 points. Okay, now I'm going to use a scripture to help you to understand this 5 points. The moment Nehemiah heard about the 4 problems encountered, the people were in difficulties. The people were insulted and disgraced by the foreigners. And the gate of Jerusalem was burned. And the walls of Jerusalem were broken down. So when he heard that, what did he do? Nehemiah immediately agreed that we are in trouble. He did not blame anybody else. So later when you hear his prayer, you notice that he acted on behalf of his forefather, his father, and the people of Israel. He did not deny, he did not put the blame upon the enemies, but immediately he accepted the fact that we have problems. So therefore, the next thing he did from verse 4, when I heard this thing, I sat down and wept. You see? Acknowledging that we are in this trouble. He felt sad. He felt sad. He felt remorse that we have to encounter this problem. And he wept. So the very fact that he felt sorry, he wept, is the acknowledgement that we are in trouble. For some days, I moaned and fasted and prayed before the God of heaven. Then I say, O God, God of heaven, the great and awesome God who keeps his covenant of love with those who love him and obey his command. Let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer your servant is praying before you day and night for your servants, the people of Israel. I confess the sins we Israelites, including myself and my father's house, have committed against you. We have acted very wickedly towards you. We have not obeyed the commands, decrees, and law you gave your servant Moses. The second point, Nehemiah made confession. As I say, he acknowledged, he admitted, the first point, admission. He admitted that we have problem. And he prayed in confessing the sins that the Israelites have committed. He confessed the sins of the father, the forefather, and himself have committed. He did not put the blame on other people. He recognized that we have not contributed to the well-being of the nation of Israel. He confessed. He came to deal with the issue with God. How do we respond? We don't bring the issue to God. Why are the 40 days fastings and prayer initiated by NECF for the last more than 10 years ago? The reason because we recognize that many of these issues cannot be resolved by human effort. Many of the issues cannot be resolved by your human intelligence. That's why I used to share from the scripture. I say, political process, it doesn't matter what system it may be, cannot solve the problems of this world. I think I preached this sermon some years ago. This Saturday, I'm conducting a seminar on Christian response to political uncertainty and confusion in Petaling Jaya. I've been doing this seminar throughout Southeast Asia and in different parts of Malaysia. I convey one message. It is the gospel of hope. It's the work that you are doing that will bring change to the nation. Therefore, Nehemiah knew he has to deal with God. He has to make right with God. So having admitted the problem, he came to God in confession and in prayer and seeking God to do something positive. So he wept, he sat down, he wept, he mourned, he fasted, he prayed. So he sought out that relationship vertically before he dealt with that horizontal relationship. Then having done that, what happened? In chapter 2, verse 17 to 18, then I say to them, you see the trouble we are in. Jerusalem lies in ruin, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, and we will no longer be in disgrace. I also told them about the gracious hand of my God upon me, and what the king has said to me. They replied, let us start rebuilding. So they began this good work. So after making confession, the third thing Nehemiah did was he made decision. What were the decision he made? What were the decision he made? There were two. First, he said, let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. Let us rise up to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. Second decision he made was, let us not be disgraced by the foreigner anymore. Let us not be disgraced by the foreigner anymore. He intentionally made the decision to do something which is appropriate. That is to encourage every individual within the nation of Israel to rise up, to have the responsibility of rebuilding the nation. He challenged the people to rise up, overcome every obstacle, seek to rebuild the wall. The second decision he made, that let us not be disgraced by the foreigner anymore. Brothers and sisters, you may encounter a problem. If it is a financial problem, what decision are you going to make? You must intentionally say, I want to be a good steward of God. I'm not going to use my credit card anymore. Throw away the credit card. I want to pay all my debts. I don't want to live like a big tauke anymore. Meaning, for foreigners, you don't understand what a big tauke is. I mean, you don't want to live like a big boss anymore, like a rich man anymore. Instead of going to expensive, what do you call that? What station? Those expensive restaurants. What do you call that? You don't go to that kind of station anymore to eat. You go where? You go and eat chao gui tiao. You see? Hawker center. So you make a decision not to spend money unnecessarily. If you are a smoker,